Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. And it's Monday. It is September 17th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And it was a relatively slow day. Maybe it's rollover, but volume was off and volatility was off compared to what it was. It was really downhill. There's a lot of sideways action in here, but the overall trend, as you can see, is clearly down with this channel. There are two tiers in here. It's not very important, but we'll put it on there. But anyway, it was mostly downhill today, and we came back to the key entry point just a couple of times here, and I didn't really get good entries off either one of those. So, you won't see a lot of trades. This was was a possibility right here. I'll go ahead and mark it green. But you were better off to wait on the lower highs, and the lower high was here, which wasn't a very good setup. But then you got a failed second entry long, perfect reversal type perfect reversal type pattern here to go short on. And let me back out where it's a little easier to see. But it won't take long to go through these today. There's not a lot of trades. You had to be really patient today. And you might have considered going long right here just because we were sideways here. There's definitely a downward bias here, and you were looking for two legs down. You measure the first leg down and then measure the second one. You can see we almost had a perfect measure move. So you might risk that one right there. You're always better off to wait on the higher low, which comes here, and it actually went lower and turned and went out the other side. You could have gone long there. It's not a perfect reversal pattern. It's not a failed second entry. So I only marked it green, but if you're pretty good at reading this and you see what's going on here, you probably expect prices to come back here. And if this is a channel, this channel's right, we're probably headed back to the high part of the channel. So you may try to get long there. And once we started going sideways here, it's just not worth risking it at that point. Just stay out. But let's back out, talk about the trades, and we'll go from there. Uh, this is a nice reversal pattern. Notice you got a little double bottom, so it's like a new low. Then you get a first entry, a second entry, it fails. There's a little bit of a trend line working up through here. It's the first break, close outside, and it's kind of questionable. It's not a real convincing close. So I was a little leery of trying to take any shorts up here, even though it was off the overnight highs. So I like going long there. It was a quick, easy scalp, and you know, this is a half decent short, but look how we're stacking up right there. There's stems on both sides. This is not a convincing close outside the trend line. You're better off to skip this. You miss a nice trade. There's a lower high right here, but you're kind of back into that's where the highs were, and then so there's like a support resistance across there. I don't have a line on there, but if you draw it across the previous highs, you can see we're right in there to it where that lower high is. So I don't think you want to risk going short there. Just wait, and then it comes back, and you can draw this trend line right here and draw it up, and it turns down right off of it. It actually went higher first. Just go short there. There's a true failed second entry long right here, but it's right back into these lows, and at that point I had this line way up here, and you can see that you don't want to go short right into that. I ended up moving it down later to these closes. So we run on down, we bounce right there. um, I'm not going to take that because there's been no close outside this line yet. So that's your first close, and notice you get a first entry and then a second entry, and it looks like it's going to fail, and it breaks higher and just turns to be a little long trap, and it's a double test of that level. Go short right there, and you could look at this really as a double test of that as well, but this is definitely, and so that's a place to add on, or if you weren't in, definitely get in now. Just make sure you got enough room to get out before here. If you do, take it. There's a failed second entry long here, but again, you're right back short into the lows, and you actually probably would have moved this up to here right now, and you notice how it's touching most of your touches all the way across there and using the closes as well. So that turns out to be where I had it by the end of the day. and you don't want to be going short right there. So it's a nice little move down, but it's not worth risking because it could, look how many times it's bounced across there. You got to be real careful there. In fact, somebody probably went long right there on that break higher and probably got burned. And hopefully you could see that resistance right across there, and hopefully you could see all the congestion here, and we're kind of stuck between the EMA, and we're kind of making lower highs and lower lows. There's a good chance we're going to break lower, even if it's going to fail, which it does, but it's only temporarily. It's only a temporary failure. It's a pretty good move down as well. So don't be going short or long. Just stay out of that. If anything, look for a, if we'd have broke lower and pulled back and tested that and got a nice bearish bar, I might have taken it short. But you don't get, notice you don't really get a good setup until way down here, and look how far, you've already had a measured move. Look how far away you are from the EMA. Don't risk it. If anything, look for a ride back to the EMA and maybe back up to here, and if there is a channel here, all the way back to the trend line. So you might take that one. We already talked about this. It's crawling up that trend line. It breaks lower, turns up. It looks like there's a close outside again. It's not very convincing. So it's kind of like this right here. It's almost, it's not really a repeat pattern because we were working higher there. And so it's a little bit different, but it is kind of a similar setup. So you might consider it. And then we just start working sideways before we push up, hit the trend line, and turn down. There's a very big bearish bar, but look at it, it's right into the EMA. Wait, you probably want to wait on a lower high, which you get one there, but not a very good signal bar. And then finally you get your failed second entry long right here in your reversal type pattern. Go short right there, and again, it's not a great setup because there's a doji, and then that's basically a doji, or kind of a one bar trading range or whatever. And so you can see the smart traders waited on another little jog up and then a more bearish bar, and off it goes. So you could get in there, you could add on here, or you could get in here, whichever you chose. You could do it either way. And of course we're moving down this trend channel. We get a break here, first entry, pull back, you get a second entry, but not a very good signal bar. Again, a lot of overlap, a lot of congestion. There is a double top there. I would want to wait on a lower high, and we actually don't get one until just after 2 o'clock. But notice that high, first entry, second entry, and this is a nice, fairly bearish bar right off the trend line. So, and we're probably headed down to here. We're probably at least going to test these lows and probably head down to here, or hopefully head down to there. So I like that entry, and you can ride that one all the way down to here. You could actually ride that all the way into the close if you wanted. You would have given back some of it into close, but once we bounce down here, maybe the second time or so, I probably would have exited. Generally, I would look to exit right in here somewhere, but you might wait occasionally. But you'll usually just give back. What I usually do, if it's off a key trend channel and it's a measured move or whatever, I'm probably going to exit. And because even if you got out, just say if you got out a tick or two in front of before it touched this line, you're only giving back maybe a point or two at the most. Where if you let it come back to here, you're going to give back probably, you're going to probably exit at 28.94, 5, where here you're only going to give up a point or so, and here you're going to lose a point or so, and you're going to get more. I mean, hopefully that makes sense. In other words, why risk giving back these couple of points just to get another point, maybe? Because that's about all you would have gotten, maybe a point, point and a half. And so you're risking all this correction just to get another point and a half. So take it right here, and you're really getting out within a point of the low almost. Maybe a point and a half, 2 points at tops. So that's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that makes sense. But that was really what I saw today. It wasn't a big day. I'm a little late getting this done, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to upload it. But you can clearly see the two-tiered channel working lower all day. This trend line pretty much held. We did get a little close outside. Again, it's not very convincing, but there were 2 legs down, and then we kind of tried to correct. And then once we hit the next day, we're trading down again. But guess where we're trading still? Right around that 2,900. We were above it. We closed above it, and then opened back above it today, and we were coming back down, and we've actually traded on down below it now. So doesn't surprise me. That's generally what will happen. You'll work around both sides of that for a week or two, and before it decides where it's headed and head the rest, in the next direction. So, but again, just stay out of this. And here you had to be real careful. You needed at least a second entry or a double test or a trap or something in enough room to get out. But you got to be careful getting short into this, and you need to be careful getting long into it, since we're kind of making lower highs. I mean, when it bounces off here a couple of times, it should eventually, within a couple of tries, should go higher. And when it doesn't and it keeps working lower, that's a good chance we're probably going to make another leg down. So study that right there so you make sense. But generally, after you test this once and then tested it twice, and it doesn't head to the other side, that's not a good sign. And we actually bounced off the low here and then tested it here, and notice how we couldn't get higher here. And so we're probably going to come back down. We're just really kind of stuck in a little tighter trading range. But when it bounces that many times and can't go higher, it's probably going lower. And that's not unusual to see that measured leg down. But in the end, we just had a bigger channel here as well. So we didn't really have enough price action to see this early on this morning. But when we came back up and turned down right off that again, it's pretty obvious. But that's what I saw today. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. But I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. And we'll see you next time.